Hello, and thank you for clicking on this link to view and watch this audio-video overview of information related to the accounting clerk position at Logisticorp. Now, what we're doing here is we're giving you something to listen to so you don't need to read through a bunch of information. Some of it is unique, so it's good to look at the downloadable position profile, which includes the job description and the benefits and all the details. But this is going to give you a lot of additional information that's not included in those other resources. So this audio video is only for candidates who have already been pre-screened for the accounting clerk role, and we've evaluated your background and experience, and we're inviting you to consider next steps. So this is for one specific position. It's based out of our Las Colinas office, and it's a Monday through Friday, traditional 8 to 5 type of job. It is a little bit flexible in that there may be some part-time virtual work elements to it. So that means maybe working from home for part of the week after you're fully trained. So, definitely some good perks there. Well, congratulations. Let me first explain where you're at in the process. So we posted a job opportunity, or we emailed you directly based on your resume, based on some pre-qualification information that you were asked, and our review of that information. We're now inviting you to next steps, and that's where you're at now in the process. Once we get past this, we will provide a review and a rating and determine what to do next. So again, congratulations. You don't even realize that you're already in the middle of a process. The next step from here is, after you listen to this information, we're going to give you access to a questionnaire. The link has already been provided in the email we sent you with the link to this audio video. And after we receive your answers on the pre-interview questionnaire, that's when we go to next steps. Now, one of the reasons why we're doing this is because it's easier to just get you the information where you can listen to it anytime, day, night, in your car, whatever, and it's helpful for you to make a better decision about the role and how best to respond to some of the questions. Now, this is an immediate opportunity. Once you submit some information to us, if this seems like a good fit for you, there's a couple things that can happen. You might get immediate feedback that you're not eligible or qualified, or something that you might look at as a negative because you were eliminated from consideration. That's a possibility. Or you might get an immediate positive response like, hey, we want to set up an interview with you and take even next steps. Sometimes you might not get any response. Typically what's happening in that scenario is we call that the quiet period. That's where hiring managers have already identified a first group of people for interview. You may be in the second group and you don't even know it. But what we're doing is we're allowing folks that either responded first, or maybe they scored a little bit more highly based on their background and experience. So they're given the first opportunity to interview, and you may be somewhere in the mix, but not yet prioritized for an interview. And that's the worst place to be, because you're not disqualified, but then you didn't get an interview. So you're wondering, what's going on? And it's hard for most recruiting organizations to give feedback to every single person that responds. And that's why we call it the quiet period, because things are happening in the background and you just don't necessarily know. But if you haven't been disqualified, consider that good news. Okay, the next steps, if you are invited to an interview, is going to be probably a video, like a Zoom interview, or possibly in person. And we'll provide all the logistics and details. And then from there, it's background check, drug test, and all that. So let me pause for a second and just speak to where you might be at right now in your career transition. Obviously, you're looking for a new job because you responded. Thank you very much. But you may be just looking for more money. This position at this point starts out at $18 an hour. And if you're just looking for money, hey, you can go work for a big box store or fast food and potentially make more money than that. The problem with that is it's a career dead end. Those types of jobs are just kind of wasting your time. It's maybe some money on the short end, but you're not building a strong resume. And it also kind of looks bad when you're down the road, you've been doing something for a year or two or three, and now you're trying to get into a more professional job, and you just don't have the experience to make you highly qualified. So it can hurt you in the long run. So I would just challenge you, don't be tempted by a couple of dollars more, because you're going to see here real quick that there is benefits to taking something that has a long-term view. So let's talk about that for a minute. When we look at the long-term opportunity in a professional role, you're immediately improving your resume. Number one, like with our organization, you've got a large company name on your resume. That's great. You're working for a long-term, stable company with a long-term job opportunity. That's good. You don't want the instability. Everybody that knows somebody that got downsized or impacted by COVID during the whole crazy thing that was going on the last couple of years, you know that that's devastating when you lose a job when it's not your choice. And now you're in a bad position because of timing to be able to find something else. So we've had continued growth here at Logisticorp all the way through the COVID period, through the whole pandemic, because of our relationships with our clients. So it's great to be able to offer the long-term stability. And also, once you've had a job like this in a professional role on your resume for 12, 18 months or a couple of years, you start to look a lot more valuable, because now you're in a professional job, you're working for a recognized company, and you show longevity or dependability, like when you stick with one job for a period of time. So, more on that in a little bit. But if that sounds like what you're looking for, then this is really the right job for you. Yeah, the money might be okay if you're making less money, but if you just want money, hey, you can go out and make $20 an hour someplace else. But if you want a long-term growth opportunity where you can increase your pay, you can increase your value, there's opportunities for development, then this is definitely the place. Now, let me introduce myself and explain why I'm qualified to speak about these things. My name is Mark Galvan. I'm a recruiting manager, and I run an organization that does recruiting, outsourcing, and services. So we're not part of Logisticorp. We're a third party, and we just do all the recruiting. Our job is to create a win-win situation and make everybody, you, your family, the company, the clients, everybody is happy with a good decision. So what we've done here is we've created this audio video, and you're going to get some career coaching and counseling in this video, and you're going to get details on the company and also some prep on how to prepare for an interview. And we'll even send you a guide to a bunch of tips on how to interview well. So because of my role and the work that we do, we're really qualified to give you some of these details, and happy to do that. So Proforce, you may see in the emails or some of the communication from us, is our organization. We're a third-party company. But even though we're doing the recruiting, these are not staffing jobs. We're not a staffing company. You're being hired, if you get this opportunity, to be a full-time W-2 employee with benefits working directly on staff at Logisticorp. So just to be clear on that. And we use a very unique recruiting process to be able to find great people like you. So that's our contribution to Logisticorp. So let's talk about the hiring company, because if you become an employee, you're going to be working for a very large company that has very huge global client partnerships. So Logisticorp has clients that are in the telecom industry, public utilities, the semiconductor industry, like organizations that are globally recognized. So now you're providing support to an organization that has these massive clients. It's another example of how you start to look really good and develop a very powerful resume from a job like this. Logisticorp is over 20 years old. Our focus is on supply chain solutions, logistics, materials handling, inventory management, all kinds of stuff related to the whole supply chain operations of organizations. Now, one thing you'll see really quickly is we have a set of core values that is very, very important to the business. And we look for people who understand and appreciate those same core values. One of them is value creation. We're all committed to delivering value to our customers, internal and external, every time we show up for work. Another is continuous improvement, and that is our jobs, ourselves, we're constantly in a state of improvement and have a goal to constantly get better. Another is accountability. That means we make commitments, we honor those commitments, and we're accountable to each other for our commitments, to our customers, our business, and to each other. Another is integrity. That is, we have trust and reliability, and we build that reliability by following through on our promises. We say what we'll do, and we do what we say. Another is quality execution. That's focusing on being the best we can possibly be in everything that we do. And then diversity. We have a deep appreciation for diversity, different ways of thinking, different points of view, different perspectives in both our customers, our company, and our community. So just know that this organization has a very strong commitment to those types of values. Now, let's talk about the job for a minute. In this role as the accounting clerk, you're responsible and accountable to the accounting manager. So you're learning from somebody and reporting to somebody who is like a mentor. The job itself involves handling the transaction processing for all the AP and AR work. There may be some other administrative responsibilities as well, but you're ultimately in a customer service role as well. You're just servicing internal customers and external customers, like customers and vendors. So we really are looking for somebody that has great people skills. And the work also requires a willingness to learn and to grow. So in this role, you're going to be working with employees and internal management and external points of contact as well. So no shortage of. So in this role, you're going to be working with employees and internal management as well as external customers. Now, the real duties of the job, as I said, involve all aspects of accounts payable and receivable, maintaining the files, the documents, the processing, answering phone calls, emails, and inquiries related to the same things. Internal supervisors are going to be asking questions. You'll be looking up things, responding to inquiries, and other administrative projects and special assignments. Now, let's talk about total rewards, because as I mentioned, the weekly pay, so we pay weekly, is based on a $8 an hour start rate. So again, you're getting also, in addition to that wage, a benefit package that includes health and dental and vision, a 401k plan with a matching program, insurances, all kinds of stuff. But in addition to that, you have this other, probably more valuable long-term scenario where you have a long-term opportunity. You've got opportunity to grow and develop, internal promotion types of opportunities, as well as being involved in a stable company, which is stability in your job. So, somebody's got to consider all those things. And then another thing is, besides just the money and the career and the growth opportunities, there's some other things that are like under the surface that are going to be really valuable to the right person. One is, this is a professional career track. So you are now constantly moving every day in the direction of developing a professional career. Another is, Logisticorp is a relatively flat organization. That means there's not like 10 levels of management, which means you're going to be interacting with operational leaders on a regular basis. And that is valuable because you're going to be learning communication skills and concepts and ideas and business things that you wouldn't necessarily be exposed to when you're like 10 levels away from the CEO. Another thing is, if you've never worked in this industry, that can be valuable to your career growth. So maybe you've got a year of accounting experience someplace else in a different type of company. Well, if you bring those skills, that knowledge and that ability here, and now you've done accounting work in 2 different industries, you're actually more valuable than you would be if you just stayed doing one thing in one industry all that time. So those are other things that are also worthy of consideration because of the value to your long-term goals. Now, real quick, some of the requirements for the job. We definitely want to see at least a year's worth of experience in AP and AR. You've got to be able to pass a drug test and background check. There's some screenings that need to be done if you're being given access to go to a client site because they have their own security requirements. We want to see great communication skills. We want you to be a nice person because we're nice people and we like working with nice people. And that goes a long way in terms of customer service and just relating to people and creating an internal culture that makes it pleasurable to come to work. So if you're a good person, then you're going to be, in good company. We also need you to have good math skills and proficient with Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, those kinds of things. Know how to use the internet. Really good organizational skills where you can prioritize, organize things, multitask, and be able to work independently. You're not going to have somebody over your shoulder constantly every day. And so being able to have good time management skills and be responsible and reliable, dependable, all that is going to be very, very important. So those are going to be some things that you want to demonstrate as you proceed with next steps. So now let's talk about next steps. You have a link in the email that you received with the link to this audio video, and that's to a questionnaire. Click on that. If all this sounds interesting, complete the questionnaire. We're going to ask you about your prior experience, your skills, years of experience doing different things. This is not a place for you to be humble. We need you to be self-promoting. If you've got great experience doing something, if you learned something in the past, if you have a certification that's relevant, if you've got something that is going to make you stand out relative to everybody else, and it's not on your resume, put it on the questionnaire in your answers. We want to know. Matter of fact, we actually read every single part of those responses. And in many ways, it's more important than your resume. The resume is typically just a bunch of duties and responsibilities for your past jobs. But on the questionnaire, we're asking very specific things that are important to us. So, think about that. Those questions are very important, and we use all that information that you can provide. So don't be shy. So again, once we get your answers back, we'll review, figure out next steps, provide some direction back to you if you're selected for moving on to an interview. And regardless of what happens, we would just challenge you, just don't get discouraged. If you're looking for a job or you're in transition, we appreciate that. And we believe everybody's a rock star in the right place. So even if this is not the right place for you, hopefully you get some learnings and some benefit from the experience. If you're actually formally disqualified, we're actually going to send you some job resources and some career transition resources and resume information that'll help you on your journey. It's the least we can do to say thank you for being involved in the process. Okay, so that's the overview of the role and the opportunity. I trust this is going to be helpful and inspiring to you if this is the right opportunity, and we look forward to getting your responses on the questionnaire and figuring out next steps. All right, we'll watch for your response. Thank you so much for listening.